Hi, my name is Luciano Gonzalez, and in today's video we're going to be talking about fictional portrayals of Hispanic non-believers. There are two shows and two specific characters that I want us to talk about, and as usual, I would love for any feedback that you guys are willing to provide, both on the video presentation and creation, and also the sorts of things that I say, and whether or not you agree with them. So, in order for us to get started, allow me to introduce the two characters that we're going to be talking about today. Both of them are Hispanic agnostics, although in one of their shows it's not explicitly revealed unless you find a deleted scene in a specific episode. Specifically, the characters that I'm talking about are Oscar Martinez from the American version of the show The Office, and Penelope Alvarez from the show One Day at a Time. Oscar Martinez does not have time for your nonsense. He is here to crunch numbers and enjoy finer things. Oscar Martinez is portrayed by Oscar Nunez in the show The Office. He is the accountant for the Dunder Mifflin Paper Company in Scranton, their Scranton branch. And he is a secular humanist and agnostic who describes himself as those things explicitly in a deleted scene in the first episode of season 4 entitled Fun Run. It's a real shame that this moment was a deleted scene, especially because there is a minor throwback to it that happens considerably later on in an episode in which Dwight makes everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. There is a moment in which the line "One Nation Under God" is being audibly said by everyone else, but you are able to quite clearly see Oscar not saying anything. There are a few neat things to talk about in this particular character's version of agnosticism and secular humanism. Specifically, there's the fact that secular humanism is described and defined, which is something that I have never seen to this day, although I don't watch a whole lot of TV, so it's possible and probable that there are other moments in which characters describe and define secular humanism. But in the deleted scene, Oscar just describes himself as an agnostic and as a secular humanist. And when asked by Mike, and when Michael reacts to that, Oscar asks him if he even knows what it is. Michael claps back with the description of it, and it's a really nice moment for people who don't know anything about that. It's very nice to see someone who's explicitly both an agnostic and a secular humanist of color on TV. That's really cool, especially because he is such a straight-laced character that people might assume that he is a non-believer. He is blunt and kind of tactless, although he has better moments where it's shown and it's hinted at, because he's seen to be a character who wants to subvert people's ideas. And it's nice to see that sort of thing, especially compared to the wild antics of Michael, Jim, and Dwight, and the hyper-religiosity of Angela. So that's a very nice character, it's a very nice portrayal of it, although it's not super positive, and in another episode and another video of this, I'll probably talk more about the negatives of this, aside from the fact that it was a deleted scene, which is a really big deal and is very frustrating. I don't think that the reasons that it was made into a deleted scene were anything major. It was probably just to make the episode shorter, because that particular deleted scene is a longer one than most of the other deleted scenes are. And of course, you guys can watch it for yourself, and you can let me know if you have any interesting insights or if you know. But the next character that we're going to be talking about is Penelope Alvarez from One Day at a Time. In the third episode of the 2017 Netflix remake of the 1974, I believe, sitcom One Day at a Time, the main character, Penelope Alvarez, a veteran mother and hard worker who is adjusting back to civilian life after leaving the military, is explicitly described and outs herself as someone who is unsure of whether or not to believe in God. But unlike Oscar Martinez's version of agnosticism and secular humanism, it seems like Penelope wants to believe, which is interesting because most of the agnostics that I have seen on TV have no particular, or at the very least aren't shown to have a desire to believe, but partially because of the fact that her mother is religious and because of what goes on during the episode, but also it seems like just in general, Penelope wants to hold on to her heritage, and to her, it seems like part of her heritage is belief in God. And it seems like the things that she saw over the course of her life and when she was serving in the military made her doubt the one certainty that she possessed about the existence of God. So this is a very interesting portrayal of agnosticism, although while it's actually explicitly seen on screen and mentioned over the course of an entire episode, this is also ultimately a very minor plot point when it probably shouldn't be, because of the events of the episode, the fight that she has with her mother about religion, the things that are said. It really should be a bigger part of the episode and of the series overall than it ends up being, which is a real shame. But at the same time, it is nice that we see a character who's not dominated by her religious beliefs or her ideas about religion and her opinions on it, which is weird coming from me, because a lot of what I talk about, not just in videos but also online, is about religion. But it's true. There are positive aspects of seeing a character who is agnostic but isn't trying to have debates with religion or make fun of religious people all the time. It's a nice little bit of diversity. It is also interesting that she is seen as kind of a subversion of the normal agnostic that we see on TV, because a lot of agnostics, there are Christian agnostics, and that's worth acknowledging, it's worth talking about. It's worth acknowledging that there are believers who are honest enough to be open about their uncertainty and to acknowledge the possibility that they might be wrong. There are good things about this, and I liked it. That episode, when I first saw it, actually brought me to tears, because I had never seen a Latina be a non-believer on a TV show, and I had also never seen a veteran. I had never seen a veteran be a character who was a non-believer on a TV show. So that was neat in and of itself. But also, there is important conversations that this episode has about the role religion plays in family that The Office just doesn't get to. The Office, partially because they deleted the scene, and also partially because Oscar's family just isn't super important to him throughout the rest of the show, there's no real need to talk about family dynamics when it comes to belief and non-belief in Latino families. And that's what this episode, the third episode of the show, gets very, very well. And it's something that I absolutely loved. They had conversations about the need to compromise and about the importance of not being overly aggressive with your beliefs, which are things that I needed when I first became a non-believer, especially because most of the people in my family are believers, and there are a few members of my family who've distanced themselves from me because of the fact that not only do I lack beliefs, but also I'm vocal about it, which is frustrating and is problematic, but it's nice that there was a show that acknowledged this. So, this has been these are 2 Hispanic characters. As far as I know of, these are the only Hispanic non-believing characters, which is a real shame. I'm sure that others exist. I know that my knowledge is limited. If you guys have any that you would like to suggest, be sure to let me know. I did want to originally talk about the characters themselves, but I ultimately ended up talking more about the portrayals of their lack of belief and how that affects their character in the specific moments where it's mentioned, because in both cases these are not overwhelming plot points, although they definitely deserve to have more of a presence because these are interesting and they start conversations. I really, really, really love Penelope Alvarez's moments where she talks about agnosticism, and it's really neat to see something like that happening on TV, although it's on Netflix. But it's genuinely fascinating to me. I hope to have more conversations like this in the future. I hope to be able to create more content like this, and as I improve as a video maker and as a video editor, I hope that you guys continue giving me suggestions for things to create, and I would love to know what you think in the comments section down below. Have an awesome day.